What it do, YouTube? How are my fellow fact finders doing on this fantastic Friday morning? Today we're going to be talking about a couple things: Washington State registration and vehicular tabs, as well as fiscal responsibility with the state and our money, and traffic fatalities versus coronavirus deaths.
How long will they move it? For my nigga Kato. How long will they move it? For my nigga Kato.
Bam! There you go. And if you look carefully, Burning Man in front of a Capitol building. This motorcycle paint job is based on the Ferguson riots. So we got Uncle Sam on the back, and if you've heard my rant on Whoppernomics, back in the late 90s when it was $5 an hour, minimum wage fast food, the Whopper was 99 cents, so you could buy 5 Whoppers an hour. Except for the fact that you got to pay Uncle Sam, you have to give him a Whopper an hour of your 5 Whoppers every hour. That's crazy. Like, Uncle Sam needs that much of your money. It's crazy to me. We, the people. So it's got the Constitution. I'm going to register this bike again, as I will every year, but it shouldn't go up $10 every year. This is getting ridiculous, especially when we voted to have $30 car tabs. And this isn't even a car. We have the wheels and half the weight. Yep, it's time, people. We might need to consider that it is time to consider postponing, because they already postponed the tax date from April 15th by 90 days, and we might need to consider postponing it indefinitely, because if we don't give them money, they have no money to enforce anything, right? So I don't know how we're going to do this, but they're helping us by postponing tax day. Maybe we just have to not pay them at all. This is last year's for the motorcycle you saw on the left. That's a 2004 FLHT Electric Glide Harley Davidson, and it was $63.75 last year. The registration filing of $3 went up, and the registration service fee of $5 at the bottom went up also. And there's mandatory optional, or optionally mandatory $5 state park donation, which is right there at the bottom here. And this link actually takes you to parks.wa.gov. As you can see in the lower left hand corner, it doesn't actually allow you to deselect. It says you need to go to the donations page in order to do it, and it's grayed out. It has a check marks in the box that you can't uncheck. Now, the only way to get out of it is to go to the DMV DLL directly, but of course, because COVID-19, we cannot go to those facilities because they're not deemed essential, even though they're making like $500 million out of us fiscally. So let's get down to the brass tacks, shall we? Population of 7.6 million people, and there's 2,965,000 registered vehicles in the state of Washington as of 2018, 235,501 registered motorcycles. So that's available here over on statista.com. Looks like this. I'll put the links in the description so you can check your state and maybe do a comparison and let us know just how bad we're getting screwed here in Washington State, because we have the second highest gas tax in the nation, and our 1 year tabs are raping us. My buddy, he has him and his wife and his brother live under the same roof down the street, and I served with him in the Air Force like 15 years ago. Anyways, he had to pay $900 for all 3 vehicles. $900 for all 3 vehicles, and they're not luxury vehicles of any kind. They're probably 8 years old. They're not old, they're not new. $900 for 3 vehicles, and that's every single year. So I did this math of 2,965,000 cars, and the motorcycles of 235,501. The amount of buses on the road are 23,846 in the state of Washington, and we'll get into those figures later. If you do the math, when you combine registered vehicles and motorcycles, it doesn't count the cargo trailers and boat registrations. Those aren't included. That's more revenue that I'm leaving out here. So this is a conservative lowball estimate. They're getting $96 million a year from these 3.2 million vehicles that are listed, not counting boats and trailers. These buses are destroying our roads more than our vehicles because they're constantly on the road more than our commuter vehicles. Our commuter vehicles are on the road just to get to and from work, basically. And we're paying for these roads that these vehicles are on all the time, and they're tax exempt. And they're causing more damage to the roads than we are because they are bigger and always on them. It doesn't take a rocket scientist to work through this math that we're getting screwed. If you were to make it $150 per car, it would be $500 million. And currently, King, Snohomish, and Pierce County are charging like $300 a vehicle right now, based on inflated KBB values that they've admitted to. They're inflated, and so they got to be raking in close to $1 billion. And that's why a King County court judge, remember King County, Corona is a crown that goes on a king, and all this started in King County. The coronavirus started in King County, and the King County court judge passed an injunction across the entire state. So apparently he outranks every judge in every county, apparently, because he has the brass balls to say the will of the people. Yeah, right. We're gonna rape you for what you're worth, which ain't nothing because you're too stupid to revolt. Vehicular fatalities compared to the coronavirus. Annually in this country, 100 people die every single day behind the wheel or in a vehicle. As you can see over here on iihs.org, 33,654 vehicle accidents. But in those accidents, 36,500 people die in those 34,000 car accidents. But in Washington State, that's only 546 people a year. 546 people a year, which means we're talking about 1.5 people a day die every day.
It's looking like it's heading to 50,000 or more deaths, not cases, 50,000 deaths, which is, that's a lot. And you look at automobile accidents, which are far greater than any numbers we're talking about. That doesn't mean we're going to tell everybody no more driving of cars. So we have to do things to get our country open.
Suicide rates in this country are 132.5 people every single day. 49,000 people, 48,344 commit suicide in this country, and that's 132 people every single day.
People get tremendous anxiety and depression, and you have suicides over things like this.
Every single day. 100 people behind the wheel of a car and 132 in suicides. That's 232 people that die between fatalities in a vehicle and self-inflicted suicides. Obesity kills 450,000 people. Coronary related deaths are 450,000 in this country. Divide that by 365 and you get 1,232.
You have terrible economies. You have death, probably, and I mean definitely would be in far greater numbers than the numbers that we're talking about with regard to the virus. So we have an obligation, we have a double obligation. We have a great country. There's no country like it in the world, and there's no economy like it in the world. I mean, we were just blazing. We were coming out with numbers that some numbers weren't even reported because it was already this had happened. They were meaningless. I got numbers about myself that were meaningless because by the time the numbers came in, it's a whole different world.
Combine both those figures, that's 1,464 people die every single day. But coronavirus to date in this country, 6,058 deaths in 72 days, because I'm only going back as far as January 21st, the first diagnosed case in Seattle, if I'm not mistaken. That's 84 people a day. 65 if you say, okay, in the entire year of 2020, 65 people per day, because nobody died of it until February or whatnot. As far as the first diagnosed case, allegedly, it's been in this country a lot longer than that. That's just the first one they're saying. Just like, I may not have it until I get tested, asymptomatic. So only 84 people die a day in 2020 from coronavirus, but yet 1,464 die of obesity, coronary related deaths, suicides, and vehicular fatalities. And if you wanted to add 39 people die every day at hands of gun violence, that's it. Look at this statistic, literally. And I got that from Collion Noir. He's a YouTuber who is also a lawyer, so he knows his stuff. 1503, but compared to the coronavirus, 39 people die every day via gun violence, and 84 die every day since January 21st, first diagnosis. Guns are actually safer than the coronavirus, but not by much, because you're more likely to die in a car than by gun violence. Yeah, folks, so we're being lied to. It's mass manipulation. There's an agenda. They're using it for their benefit, their profit. Shout out to Zachary Hubbard for sharing my video. It's got 1,300 views in the past 48 hours, so that's pretty cool. And for somebody that thinks YouTube hates him, they sure as heck chose the best thumbnail out of 25 minutes and 30 seconds. 25, 30. Anyways, folks, this has been the Chaotic Prophet reminding you that toilet paper is to mind control as witch is to broom. That's right, look at toilet paper mind control. In all 4 base ciphers, it's identical. A witch, like bewitched, like, you know, Wizard of Oz witch. All 4 base ciphers, the numerical value of witch and broom are identical. And it's simple math. A is 1, B is 2, C is 3. 1, 2, 3, A, B, C. And Z is 26. And then reverse order, so this would be 26, 25, 4, 3, 2, 1. And that's this category. But this one here uses single digits. So 1 through 9, 1 through 9, 1 through 8. And something I discovered last night is that I and R are the only ones worth 9, and they're always worth 9 in this cipher, even if they're backwards. R is 9, I is 9, IR, like infrared. I want to memorize these ciphers and be as good as, one day, maybe half as good. If I can just be half as good as Zach, being able to spit out calculations, because Zach Hubbard has memorized the alphabetic order numerically. So he knows that 23, W is the 23 letter of the alphabet. He knows that because he took the time to memorize it. It didn't happen overnight, but he took the time to memorize the alphabet numerically. So that's pretty damn impressive. These 2 categories are just reverse order. So if this one's 1 through 9, this one's also, it's 1 through 9, but the alphabet's backwards. So Z is worth 1, but the I and the R are still 9. And there's only 2 letters in 26 character alphabet that can equal 9, because there's not 27 letters in the alphabet yet. And what I mean by that is the letter J is the most recent addition to the English alphabet. It's only 400 years old, and yet we think Jesus' name is Jesus. And there was no J in the English language until the 1600s or 1500s, whatever. Still, it's Yahushua HaMashiach and not Jesus. When people say the only name under heaven he's saved is Jesus, when people walking around Israel and Jerusalem and Bethlehem, and they didn't call him Jesus. Nobody called him Jesus. And for us to call him that sounds like something the devil would do, right? Because, like, my name is always going to be my name so long as I'm in this body, and Jesus is in his body just as I'm in my body, because he resurrected on the 3rd day, ascended into heaven. And Acts 1:11 tells us 2 angels appeared to these people staring as Jesus ascended into the heavens after 40 days of preaching, and then was taken up. And they're staring in the sky like, where'd he go? When's he coming back? And 2 angels walked up behind these men, staring at the sky, and said, "Men of Galilee, what are you looking at? This very same Jesus who has been taken from you into heaven will return in like manner." They thought it would have been the next day, next week, next month, and it's been 2,000 years, and we're still waiting for the Son of the living God to return. And I think we're closer to his return than his departure. So that's for damn sure. 2,000 years, we ain't in the middle. It ain't going to be 4,000 years before he returns. We're closer to him returning than him ascending into the heavens. As always, keep looking up, because if he has a plan for me, then I guarantee he's got a plan for you, because if there's oxygen in your lungs and in your blood right now, that means you have a purpose. You can either use it to serve his enemy, or you can use it to give him praise and glory for all that he's given you already. Take care, God bless, keep looking up. I promise, he's as real as the flesh that we bear.